Hello, I am Reverend Dr. Namches. In this video, we will learn the HTML styles, styling our HTML page using the style attribute. But before we continue with this class, if this is your first time of attending a HTML or a website design class, I will advise you to look or search for the first video in this series that is titled Your First Step in Developing or Building a HTML Website Page. That video is the first video in this HTML series, and it will help you and give you a background of the HTML. There you will learn how to create your root folder, your subfolders, and arrange your files. And so we continue with the topic of this video, HTML styles. Remember, there are three ways you can style your website. As you can see on the screen, number one is the inline styling, which we are going to learn today using the style attribute. Number two is the internal style sheet, the use of internal style sheet. And then number three is the use of external style sheets. So in this video, we shall concentrate on using the style attribute for the inline styling. So the style attribute and the inline styling helps you to apply HTML styles to particular HTML elements. As you can see on the screen, this is the syntax for the inline styling with the style attribute, or rather using the style attribute. The element, the style, the property, and the value. So this is the syntax, the element, the style, the property, and the value. And so we quickly return back to our root folder, my website root folder. This root folder was created on the first video in this HTML series, and all our activities so far in this HTML series are in this root folder. So I double click on the root folder, my website. You can see my subfolders, the video subfolder, the sound, the JS, the images, and the CSS. And then you can see the 4 files that we have created so far. And so we open our index file, which is our home page. We'll open it twice. First, we will open with the text document, which is our notepad. So when you open with the notepad, these are the codes we have written thus far. So I minimize it, and then I open again the same index file I open with. This time around, I open with a browser. I can open with Microsoft Edge, or I can open with Google Chrome. So I've been working with Google Chrome all those while. So I open with. And so these are the activities we have done thus far. Our last activity was on videos and audios, HTML media. Okay, our HTML media comprising of HTML videos and audios. And so I quickly head back to my notepad so we can continue with our activity. And so right under okay, so since we are talking about styling our website or web page, we'll quickly examine what we have done so far so we can look for sections or elements of this web page to style. So I would like us to welcome to Digital Classrooms to bring it at the center. Welcome to our Facebook page to align it at the center. I would like email us to be floated to the right, and then from get equipped to this footer, I would like to add a background color. So I quickly head to my index.html notepad, and then I trace the welcome to Digital Classrooms, the element. The element is the H1 element. So right inside the H1 element, the H1 is the element. So remember, it is the element, the style, the property, and the value. I will repeat it again. You look at the screen, the element, the style, the property, and the value. So right now we already have the element as H1. And so we will add style inside the opening tag of the H1 element, style equal to double quote. So now I have added the style. So the remember element, style, so it's remaining property and value. So property will be added in property and value will be added right in between the double quote. So what is the property I want to assign? I want welcome to Digital Classrooms to be aligned at the center. So the property will be text align, TEXT hyphen ALIGN colon, now the value CENTER semicolon. Now you can see the element H1, the style, the property, text align, and the value center. I'll repeat it. The element H1, the style attribute, the property text align, and the value center. Now the property and the value is separated with a colon, while after the value you add a semicolon. So I quickly save, file, save, head back to my browser, and then I refresh. So once I refresh, you will see that welcome to Digital Classrooms is now aligned at the center. So I repeat the same inside the paragraph element. Paragraph is already an element. So I add style attribute equal to my double quote. Right inside my double quote, I will add the text align property, text ALIGN, then a colon, then the value is also center, TER, and then I end it with a semicolon. So I click File, I click Save, head back to my browser, and I refresh. Now you can see that the H1 element, welcome to the Digital Classrooms, has been aligned at the center. Welcome to our Facebook page has also been aligned at the center. And so next I will float email us to the right. And so I head back to my notepad. This is email us. This is email us. Email us. I just highlighted it. So I will enter right at the opening element p tag. And now I have entered. So I will do style equal to double quote. Now the property I would like to put here is float, Float, then a colon, right, Right, and then a semicolon. So remember, this is element, style, property, value. And so I click file and save, head back to my browser and refresh. And once I do that, you will see that call us is automatically floated to the left, while email us is now floated to the right. And so there are so many other properties with their respective values. And now we will try out color and background color. Okay, so let's work with this block quote. I would add a background color to this block quote, and then I will change the color of this font. That's the font color within this block quote. So I quickly head back to my notepad. Now this is the opening tag of block quote, while this is the opening tag of block quote. So the style attribute will be at the opening element tag. And now right, this is the element block quote. So remember, it is element style property value. So we already have the element block quote. Now we add the style attribute style equal to, we've added the style attribute. Now remaining the property and the value. So right in between the double quote, you add the property background color, background hyphen color colon. Now that's the property, remaining the value. So what value do we add? Maybe green, G, or gray, gray, and now semicolon. So this is the element, this is the style, this is the property, and this is the value. So I quickly click file and save, head back to my browser, and then I refresh. So right now you will notice that the quote now has a background color of gray. And so I can check so many colors. You can change the color to blue. Let's try blue. File, save, then refresh. Wow, it has changed to blue. So I can equally uh, look for light gray, but there are several color codes. So I can go to my Google and type light light green light green color code. So you can see light green color code. So I press enter. So when I press enter, the standard light green color code is this hexadecimal, which corresponds to RGB. So okay, I can scroll down. This is mint green, this is lime green, this is pastel green. Oh, okay, let's try lime green. So this is the color code for lime green. So I copy, head back. This is my browser. I head back to my notepad. Now you can see background color blue. So I will delete blue and paste that color code that I just copied from Google. So that's it. That's it. Hash 32CD32. So that's now my value. So I click file, I click save, head back to my browser, and then I refresh. Wow, so that's mint green. Okay, let's tweak it a little. Pastel green. Let's copy pastel green, Control C, and then let's paste it and see how the color changes. pastel green, Control V, then I click File, I save, head back to my browser, and then I refresh. So that's pastel green. I think this looks nice. So I can also, so I now have the style, the element, block quote, the style attribute, the property, which is the background color, and the value. So I can equally add another property and value. How do I do that? After the semicolon, I give a space. After giving a space, I will type color, COLOR. That's for font color. Color, maybe I'll type red, RED, or I may look for the color code for red. But that's not the scope of our class today. I click File, I click Save. Now I have element, style, property, value. Remember, I had element, style, the first property, the first value, the second property, the second value. So I would click File and Save, head back to my browser and refresh. Now you see that the font color has turned red, my light green or my palette green, and then my red font color. And so I can also add font weight. Let me add another property and value. Can add font weight, FONT hyphen WEIGHT, then a colon BOLD, the value. So I now have a third property and a third value of font weight bold. I click File, I click Save, head back to my browser, and then I refresh. You now see that the fonts are now bolder. And so we can try to style the quote. According to Steve Jobs, innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. So I head back to my browser, to my notepad. Okay, that's it. That's the paragraph according to Steve Jobs. So now I already have the paragraph element. Remember, it is the element, the style, the property, and the value. So I add the style right inside the, I just highlighted it inside the paragraph element. I give a space, style equal to double quote for the property and the value. So I'll add background color colon. Now I can also, there is another way I can add background color. I can use the RGB, capital letters, red, green, and blue. That's RGB. Red, R stands for red, G stands for green, and B stands for blue. So I open and close a bracket. So I can add 0 for red, comma, 0 for blue, comma, maybe 255 for blue, 0 for red, 0 for green, and then 255 for blue. So as long as my spellings are correct, I will click File and Save, head back to my browser, and then I refresh. So when I refresh, you will notice that blue, what I did in this code was that I put off red, I put off green, then I put on blue. That's why you can see that the background color changed to blue. So let's tweak it. Let's tweak it a little. Let me put on green and see how when green is on, when green is on and when blue is on, let's see how it works. Red, green and blue are on. Let's see how it works. So I click file, I click save, head back to my browser, I refresh. Wow, so that's combination of G and B. That's green and blue. It gives you this color. And now let's all put on the three of them. Let's put on the three of them. I will delete 0 and write 255. Then I'll click file and save. So when I put on the three of them, it turns to white. Turns to white. So what if I put off the three of them? I convert 255 to 0, 255 to 0, 255 to 0. Now RGB is 000. I click file, I click save, and then I refresh, and it turns to black. Now that it has turned to black, I can't even see my font because my font is equally black. So I will have to go and turn my font to white. So I click file. So how do I turn my font to white? I do a semicolon so I can add another property and value. So COLOR, that's for font color, equal to, okay, no, color colon and then RG RGB, open a bracket, make sure I end with a semicolon, and then I enter into the bracket. I will on RGB, green is on and blue is on. When the three are on, it becomes white. So I click file and I click save. So before I refresh, look at it. I have the element, paragraph, element, style, property, first property, and the first value. Now, element, style, second property, color, and second value. So I head back to my browser and then I refresh. Now that I refreshed, I now have a background color black and a font color white. And so I can equally add font weight, font family, font size, font style. So I will start from font weight. That's adding another property and value. So let me add font weight, FONTWEIGHT. Oh, okay, we've added font weight in this one and we'll call it font weight bold. So this time around, I'll call it font weight 20px. Then I now have a third property and a third value. So I can do font style. So under font style, I have normal. I can do normal. I can do normal, NORMAL. I can do oblique, OBLIQUE. Okay, let's leave it at oblique. Click file and then save. Head back to my browser and refresh. So you see that according to Steve Jobs, it's now oblique. Oblique. Okay. Okay, my font weight, I can make it 900. Then I can also add font size, FONT hyphen SIZE. I can do 30px and then a semicolon. So I now have font weight 900, another property and value. Font style oblique, another property and value. Font size 30px, another property and value. So I click file, I save. I can have so many properties and values in just one element. And so I head back to my browser, and then I refresh. Wow. So because of the font weight that I made 900, this quote has now increased to 900. You can see the font size. Okay. So I can decide to remove the font weight. Let's see how it goes. File and save. Head back to my browser, refresh. Oh, okay. That's the weight and then the size. So I can do Ctrl Z to undo what I did. The font size I can reduce to 20px. The font size is 30px. I can reduce to 20px. File, save. Head back to my browser, refresh. Okay, I think 20px should be okay. Now I can also change the oblique to italic and see the difference. ITALIC. I just changed from oblique to italic. I click file, I click save, head back to my browser, refresh. So they are almost the same. I can change to normal, NORMAL, the font style, and then I click file, I click save, head back to my browser and refresh. So normal. I think I should change it back to oblique. It looks beautiful with oblique, QUE. And then I click file, save, refresh. Alright, so I can add a font family where you have Times, New Romans, and the rest. So I will add a font family, and that will be the last for the font series, FONT hyphen FAMILY. Font family, a semicolon. Let me do monospace. 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 And then a semicolon. You can see I'll have to extend my notepad a little. I'll have to shift it a little. You can see font. This is where I started. Font hyphen family and then monospace. So I click file. I click save. Head back to my browser. And then I refresh. So you can see the font family just changed. According to it just changed to a monospace. And so you can equally Google font families, font family in HTML. There are so many font families. You can see so many font families. You can see, okay, you can add the font name 1, you can add the font name 2, then a generic family. Okay, you can see the font family Arial, Helvetica, Sans Serif, Times New Romans, Georgia, Serif, and the rest. So you can browse a whole lot of font families in web design. You can see so many font families, even in Microsoft Word, in Excel, and so many places. You can just Google it, and then you will see a whole lot of font families. And then you can add more than one font family. You can add the first one, you put a comma, you add the second one, so that in case your browser does not support the first font family, it will accept the second font family. If it doesn't accept the first and the second font family, it will accept the third one. So you can add a series of font families, so that you ensure that your browser accepts one. So I click file and I save. I minimize my notepad. So I can decide to do this with styling. Remember, I did this with the Mac attribute, October 2025. You can see it highlighted in yellow. I can equally do it with styling, but this time around I'm going to do it with Bonanza. Bonanza. or preferably I'll do it with get equipped. Let me style get equipped. You can see that get equipped is already underlined. It's already underlined. So I will, oh, okay. I will do that with Bonanza so that I will do a fresh styling on Bonanza. This get equipped already has underline. I can remove it anyway, but I want to do a fresh styling on Bonanza. So I head to my notepad and look for it. So where is it? It's just a Bonanza. So Bonanza is simply what I want to. You can see element, the mark element that added that yellow background to October 2025. As you can see October 2025 has a yellow background because of the mark element. And so I can head back to my browse to my notepad. So I simply want to style only Bonanza, not the entire paragraph, not the entire paragraph, but only Bonanza. And so I will use the span attribute. I'll use the span attribute. As you can see on the screen, this is the span attribute. The span element or the span tag. It has the opening tag span and the closing tag span. And so I head back to my notepad and then I nest Bonanza span attribute, the opening and the closing tag round Bonanza. That word, round Bonanza, this word. So, and this is how I do it. I open span tag, SPAN, and then I close it right, maybe after the, no, maybe before the full stop. I close the span, SPAN, and so this is the span, the span. If I click file and save, there will be no difference. There will be no difference. It's not like Mac that shows you an automatic difference. No, let me refresh. So there is no difference. Bonanza is still there without any change, without any styling. So span is an element. Now I want to now add style. STYLE equal to double quote. Remember it is element, style, property, and value. And so the property and the value, I'll add a property background color, BACKGROUND-TOLOR. Background color, semi or colon. Okay, let me add yellow, YELLOW, and then a semicolon. So this is the element span, the style attribute, the property background color, and then the value. And so I click file, save, head back to my browser, and then I refresh. So just like I used Mac to achieve this, I now use style to achieve this. So I want you to head back to I want you to see the difference. This is Mac. I achieve the same result. And this is span with style, achieving the same result. So I can change my background color to red, click file and save, head back to my browser, refresh. So I now have, it's just a Bonanza. Bonanza ends on October 2025. And so in this video, we have talked about the style attribute use inline styling using the style attributes. I think it would be preferable to put it this way: inline styling using the style attribute. And now we have learned the syntax, which is the element, the style, the property, and the value. The property and the value encoded or written inside or inserted inside or between the double quotes. Now the property and the value are separated with a colon, while immediately after the value you add a semicolon. And now we have talked about different properties. The font properties like the font weight, the font size, the font style, the font family. We have also talked about there are so many font families, there are so many properties like the text transform, where you can transform a text. You have the underline, there are ways you can google most of these things, but our subsequent videos will have a lot of properties and values. And we have also finally talked about the span element. You can nest a span opening and closing tag inside a paragraph, inside a heading, inside another element. So we have equally learned about it. And I appreciate your time listening to this video. I would implore you to please click the subscribe button within 1 second, and you will have opportunity to see other videos that in this HTML series. Thank you so much. I am Reverend Dr. Namchez. Goodbye.